all of Vietnam was dangerous.
The carnage of war left an indelible mark on me.
We came back and built lives. As time went on, we faced new challenges and found support to handle them.
I went to the VA, talked to my doctor.
I started doing groups. I started doing one-on-one counseling.
At MakeTheConnection.net, you can hear our stories and find tools and services available to you.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Why must the world be so cold? They've gone against what was told. Thinking rape is cool, think about it. They think it's not wrong, violence against women, the rape, the abuse, the emotional, physical. They all hold the hate, think about it. Is it right or wrong? What attracts you? I'm not saying no names, but you laugh. Talk about it like nothing is wrong. Think about it. They all hold the hate. Gotta stop the violence. Stop the hate. Think about it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblatt. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblatt from Shamblatt Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblatt Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblattfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clearing skies tonight with a low of 29, then Wednesday clouds move back in with a high of 52. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions, you are listening to Native Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news. And as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute and Make Voting a Tradition here in Minneapolis.
Hey, happy day after your birthday there, Chujong.
Hey, thanks. Really appreciate that.
Right on, right on. You're 30, 20, 32?
Oh, gosh. No, not quite. We got a few more years until we get there, thankfully, though.
Right on. Just kidding. Happy birthday. We missed you. I want to give a big shout out to Wendy for sitting in for you like the old days. She did great. And it's Super Tuesday today, and we'll have Ruth Buffalo on in a little bit. And also, we got a couple other guests you want to tell our audience about real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a very important message today. We're very excited to play this. We have an update here from Second Gentleman of the United States, Doug Emhoff, to talk about voting today and why it's so important specifically in the state of Minnesota.
Yes. Why don't we go to that right away, and then we'll talk about the rest of the show. So why don't we take a quick listen to our new close friend?
Native Roots Radio Network. Hello, this is Doug Emhoff, second gentleman of the United States. Wanted to reach out to let you know how important it is to vote in today's primary in Minnesota. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Go to iwillvote.com to find your polling place. Because you turned out to vote in 2020, we have made remarkable progress. Joe and Kamala have lowered prescription drug costs for seniors, including reducing the cost of insulin to just $35. We're investing more than $6.2 billion in Minnesota to rebuild roads and bridges and to remove lead pipes. I was just in Minnesota last week to announce a $20 million investment at the airport. We're creating jobs, including more than 200,000 jobs in Minnesota after losing 130,000 under Donald Trump. We've invested historic levels of funding in tribal communities, including $32 billion for healthcare, housing, and childcare, $3.5 billion for high-speed internet, more than $720 million to adapt to climate change, to mitigate drought, and to shift to clean energy production. We're also working to provide tribes with a greater role in the management of land and water that have cultural and natural resources of significance for their communities. There's so much at stake: democracy, freedom, our economy. It's all on the line. Remember, polls are open until 8 p.m. tonight. If you haven't voted yet, go to iwillvote.com to make sure your voice is heard.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, we really appreciate that, and them reaching out for that short message. I will be going and doing my duty right after the show. I'm going to take a walk down to my voting place and cast a vote.
There you go. Yeah, I know a lot of people, myself, went out and voted. I know our friend Robert Lilligren of NACD, Native American Community Development Institute here. I saw that he was up, probably the first one out there voting this morning. So that was very, very cool to see.
Yeah, I'm usually one of those too. And but today I had to run into Wisconsin and do my due diligence with my other job. And so that allows me to get up early, drive early, and then come home and do this great show across Turtle Island. We're so blessed to have this and have people like the Biden Harris administration reach out to us and send us good words for our listeners. And that just shows how important our listeners are, and especially here in Minnesota, but also in Wisconsin, even though they don't have the Super Tuesday going on in Wisconsin. So that was important to get my new close friend Doug's words out there, Haley.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think it's just important too that they mentioned and that they're focused on the good things that are going into Indian country. I know they talked about housing and healthcare and childcare, which are some things that, those resources are kind of very slim when it comes to being in Indian country.
Yeah, definitely. And just having a voice, I think this administration is so much better at that. And I know the second day Trump was president, he let Standing Rock happen and signed a bill, or not a bill, but a presidential order to let the oil flow right under the Missouri River and right through Standing Rock Reservation, which, in the history of the show, Haley, we started the show because of what was happening at Standing Rock and the struggles out there and the lack of the national media talking about what was happening to our community. The 4 times that Wendy and I were out there, it was a big city.
Yeah.
There was during Thanksgiving week, Standing Rock, there was over 15,000 people there fighting for clean water.
Right. Yeah. And just Standing Rock seems like, it's 7 years ago since you started this show, 7 years ago since all of the protesting happened out there. And just looking back at the pictures, it's like hard to, sometimes it's easy to forget all of these big events and, we attend so many things and we're, trying to protest against things or for things. And that was a really big turnout. And thank God, really. I mean, unfortunately, Donald Trump kind of reversed that whole situation,
Right.
but these are the things that we need to remember. Like, we matter in numbers, and there's strength in numbers when we all come together. And I think we do that really well, kind of all around Turtle Island.
Yeah. And, once we're clear to our goals and not fighting with each other, I think the Native Americans can do and pull off anything. And don't forget too, our white allies that were there. They were from all over the country, and it was a thing of beauty. And I wanted to make sure that I made that because that was basically my wounded knee. Because of my age, I was not able to deal with the wounded knee protest, 73-day protest in 1973. So I wanted to make sure I was there, and it was unbelievable. It really was. And
Yeah.
all the tribes were representative, and all the tribal flags that were up and down the road was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And people from all over the country, and our friends from Palestine were there too. And
Yeah.
we have to remember that and say a prayer for them, because their genocide with what's happening to their native land is very similar to what happened to Native Americans here on Turtle Island.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you're native on Turtle Island, the differences are, the similarities are just too close. And I think when we hear things and we're talking about Palestine, I think it's always on my mind, and it's always heavy on my heart every single day. But it's just so similar, and I think it could be a little triggering, and we just all know all too well about those same kind of struggles here in Turtle Island.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we got an awesome show. We got our friend Ruth Buffalo stopping in. So we started out with the vice president's husband, and now we're going to go to Ruth Buffalo here after this quick break. And we're going to talk about her new job and how excited we are here in the Twin Cities to have this warrior show up and work with us in our community. It's just exciting. And I know there's an open house we're going to be talking to her about, but we love Ruth Buffalo, and now she's a Minnesotan, and she's got to get that Minnesota accent down. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. We know too much about that accent. I was just in DC, and I had people comment on my accent, and I didn't realize how strong it was, but
oh yeah.
Oh, I guess it is.
Oh geez. Yes.
Oh, geez.
You betcha. We'll be right back, you all. Oh, we got a binder. Oh, there's all those Minnesota. Okay, we'll be right back. Next, our friend Ruth Buffalo, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hey, if you're like a lot of people, you're probably relieved that the holiday celebrations are over. But there's one thing that might stay with us from the holidays besides all those gifts, and that's COVID-19. Numbers from COVID are going up as we spend more time inside. And Native Americans are seeing even bigger case spikes. With all the indoor celebrations over the holidays, you may have unknowingly been exposed to someone with COVID-19. That's why it's important to stay vigilant. If you notice any symptoms like a fever, a tickle in the throat, or heavy fatigue, take an at-home test. They're still free and can be ordered at sayyeshometest.org. If you do test positive, you're eligible for free treatment, and no health insurance is required. Visit health.state.mn.us to connect with providers and receive your treatment. Let's make 2024 the healthiest year ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, we have our friend Ruth Buffalo, our good friend Ruth Buffalo, former North Dakota State Representative and current CEO of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. Welcome, Ruth.
Hi, Dosha, Madzigidads. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're so excited now that you're Minnesotan. We were just talking in the other segment that you're going to have to change your accent a little bit now. You're going to be saying all your words longer. But we're really excited that you're here in the Twin Cities, and we have a special event we want to talk about real quick.
Yes, the Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center is hosting a community meet and greet for me. So this is Thursday, I believe at 5:30 here at the MIWRC building.
It is at 5:30. So when we were talking about doing a quick pre-record on Thursday and have so we can run over there. Haley and I can run over there and welcome you to the Twin Cities. And you're no stranger to Minnesota. You lived here at one time.
I did. I lived here years ago before I had a family, and I worked at Division of Indian Work, or DIW, at the YLDP, the Youth Leadership Development Program. And I was actually looking at going to Metro State and going into social work.
Wow. Wow. That's crazy. And just your background a little bit. You played college basketball, right?
I did. Yep.
I want to hear about this a little bit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Gosh, my husband and I both transferred to South Dakota. He played baseball there, and I played basketball. And how we both landed in South Dakota was interesting too, because I was here, for a full year here in Minneapolis. I stayed off of Cedar Avenue, not far from where the home of Juicy Lucy's is. But yeah, we met in South Dakota, and how I landed in South Dakota too was from playing in a basketball tournament in Temecula, California. Back then, I think it was called the National Indian Athletic Association. And I believe like Ernie Stevens Jr. Used to lead that. I'm not sure if he still leads it. They have annual national tournaments across the country, and that year just happened to be in Temecula, California. We won the tournament, and one of my teammates from Standing Rock, she was headed to South Dakota and told the coaches about me, and then the coaches called and encouraged me to go down there to try out. So I remember driving down there in my mom's minivan with one of my younger sisters and tried out for the team. And then they, offered me a basketball scholarship and finished there with a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. I did not know that story, but I knew you played basketball because during COVID, when we were all doing the COVID Native American check-in on Sundays, the Sunday Symposium. A lot of your friends from all over Turtle Island that you knew from basketball way back when.
Yes. Yep. And yeah, even actually why I left Minneapolis back then was because one of my cousin brothers were very close, and we always knew we would see each other once a year at the National Indian Basketball Tournament. And he had unexpectedly passed away that March 3rd, actually. And then we were supposed to see each other in Oregon the following month, because the tournaments were usually held in April. And then after being at DIW for a full year, my uncle, who was living down in Window Rock or Fort Defiance area, had asked me to move down there and help him take care of his grandson, who was 2 years old at the time. And so I, without question, moved down there, took care and helped for a semester down in Fort Defiance. And then After that, I had to come back to Minneapolis and work temp agencies to get my car out of the shop because I was supposed to drive down there. But a lady had hit 2 cars before mine and then got hung up on the back end of my little Cavalier on side street parking on Bloomington Avenue. I was visiting one of my friends. So ended up flying down there. And then after I finished, helping my uncle and my nephew, came back to Minneapolis and had to work to get my car out of the shop and worked in temp agencies. And after that, as soon as I had enough money to get my car out of the shop, I headed back home and did a semester at Tribal College back home, and then played in that tournament, and then went to South Dakota. So.
Wow, these are things I knew nothing about. That's really exciting. Wow. And I got to tell you too, I had a Cavalier twice, so those were nice little running cars with good mileage back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
So Ruth, let's just bring it back to what are you hearing? A lot of people going to show up to the welcoming of Ruth Buffalo here on Thursday, the 7th of March at 5:30 in the evening, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, 2300 15th Avenue in Minneapolis.
Yes, hearing that there's going to be a good turnout. I hope there's a good turnout. Would love to visit and meet the community members. This will not be the only time that I'll be able to engage with the community members, but I believe the team here at MIWRC and the search committee wanted to make sure the community had an opportunity to visit with me. I believe there's also a cedar ceremony happening here at the same time too, so there will definitely be a lot of people in this space this Thursday.
Well, that's exciting, and to get the job here, and I know this organization is well known in the state and has a lot of clout, and we're excited to have your leadership. What's the first thing you feel like you need to do?
Raise money. Finding sustainable funding for the long haul, building the programs back up to what they once were, and to continue partnering and working with and for the community is really important.
It very much so is. And I know there's a lot of different services. Can you touch on any of them? I know it's like your second day, so I'm grilling you here. But
yeah, no, definitely hit the ground running. Gosh, right now I know that they have downsized quite a bit, but the hope is to rebuild everything back up to what it once was, and of course to continue strengthening the existing partnerships across the community. And so I know for sure, they have the drop-in center downstairs. They also have birthing, women to help moms with traditional birthing. Also looking at more holistic, just a holistic approach rooted in our cultural values. So a lot of, I believe and feel that there's a lot of underlying, within everything, it's rooted in healing, without saying healing, but that's really, I believe, at the heart of a lot of the work here. So I'm really excited to help and to continue building what's been here within the community. But again, that long-term sustainable funding is going to be so very important.
Absolutely. And, you'll have trips to the Capitol and talk to our legislators. And I know you have a great relationship with, Heather Keeler and Mary Knoosh. And so that'll be exciting. I'm looking at the Facebook here, and there's going to be a couple hundred people there. So I guess I'll have to wait my turn to ask you questions. There's going to be a lot of people there. That's awesome.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I was hoping that my family could join me, but we'll see. They're definitely going to try to be here with me for the meet and greet, and some of my close friends and sister friends from back home will also be in the area because I believe AHEC, some of the events are happening here in the Twin Cities. So looking forward to it, but excited to continue working with and for the community.
Well, we're excited to have you. And again, it's the meet and greet, Ruth Buffalo, Thursday at 5:30 to 7:30 at the Minnesota Indians Resource Center. And that's 2300 15th Avenue South. And we're really excited to have you as a Minnesotan again.
Thank you, Madzigidads. Yeah, it's still a little shocking. I think, it wasn't, so it's, thankful to be back in the community for sure.
Yeah, and a supportive family. That is just awesome. You guys are all moving here, and I like your husband even more now that I heard that he played college baseball. So baseball is my favorite sport. So maybe he and I can go to a Twins game when he moves up here.
Yes, for sure. He's a hat guy, and he's been perfecting his craft with embroidering hats and apparel. And he's looking to, hopefully open a new barber shop here as well. So.
Right on. Thank you so much, Ruth, for stopping in. As always, now that you're in Minnesota and you have an open door policy, you can come on anytime.
Madzigidads, thank you.
All right. Wow, that was Ruth Buffalo, and we're really excited. We're just excited, and we're excited that she was on tonight, and the meet and greet's going to be awesome. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be back after this short break. Stay with us. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
As we pack away the ornaments and bid farewell to the holiday season, it's time to unwrap the gift that keeps on giving, getting protected by a COVID-19 vaccination. This is your chance to make a difference, especially as our Native communities face higher COVID numbers. Those higher numbers underscore the need for collective action. So answer the call and get vaccinated. The latest vaccines are not just authorized, but they're proven effective against the current variants. This is extra protection, even if you've already had previous vaccines, since previous vaccines will eventually wear off. Plus, the new shots are FDA approved for ages 6 months and up. A COVID vaccine is not just a shot. It's a pledge to safeguard the wisdom and stories handed down by our elders. So join the movement, get vaccinated, and make 2024 the healthiest year ever, securing a brighter future for our Native community. For more information, including details about clinics offering free vaccines, visit vaccines.gov.
Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas is your pathway to a bachelor's degree. Located in downtown Minneapolis, Doherty Family College offers an affordable education that includes free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass. As a full-time Doherty Family College student, you'll benefit from mentorship from St. Thomas faculty, along with paid internships and support from Minnesota's largest private college. Ready to turn your dreams into reality? Apply now at dfc.stthomas.edu. Doherty Family College. Your journey to success starts here.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
The vehicle for the Minnesota family is the Toyota Sienna, and the best place to get one is Rudy Luther Toyota in Golden Valley. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. I have 3 kids, and the Sienna hauls all your kids' sports and school gear easily. I can attest they're the safest vehicles, trust me, protecting your most valuable cargo. They're the perfect vehicle for the spring break or summer road trip, and the hybrid model is insanely fuel efficient. And Rudy Luther Toyota has a great selection of new and certified pre-owned Siennas. Get one today. It's my highest recommendation. Rudy Luther Toyota, west of Minneapolis on 394.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Clearing skies tonight with a low of 29, then Wednesday, clouds move back in with a high of 52. Nightingale is your cozy, comfortable neighborhood bar and restaurant at 26th and Lindale in Minneapolis. Come in for the famous Nightingale burger or the ginger tamari chicken wings. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by All My Relations Arts and their current gallery exhibit, Okizi, in partnership with the American Swedish Institute, running now until April 13th in Minneapolis.
Hey, Haley, we got a guest here. We have COVID-19 short audio stories from the community members here in Minnesota, and joining us to discuss this project is Christian Spargo. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is exciting, and I know you and Haley have been shooting back emails back and forth. Haley, why don't you take over here and tell our audience what they're about to listen to?
Yeah, well, thank you, Kristen, for joining us today. Well, we have put out, Dega, Robert, we've put out a few COVID symposiums over the years. I know before you guys were doing them every Sunday, and we've been very grateful to have Dr. Stately of NAC here in Minneapolis join us to co-host our symposium stories about COVID-19 and what's going on in our American Indian communities here in Minnesota. And we've talked to people that we know about, experts across the field, some of our close friends. And our last one just came out the past 2 weekends. We had, of course, Dr. Stately. We had Ho Chunk Citizen and your friend, Danielle DeLong.
Yes.
As well as one of our good friends, Barb Faber, who is really great in early childhood education for our Native kiddos. So if you haven't heard that or watched it, we have our live video on Facebook as well. That would be a really great resource. I know we talk about a lot of things, but Kristen is here to share a lot of some stories that they did. These are shorter stories, so less than 90 minutes, but there's some stories with community members and just kind of talking about their experiences, right, Kristen, with COVID and the different things.
Yes. So I partnered with the, I work with the Federally Qualified Urban Health Network, or FUN, and NAC is a member of this collaboration, as is Indian Health Board. And so we partnered with a group called Salamo Health and Wellness, that is a community-based research organization that is out of Kook, if you're familiar with the Community University Health Center. And we did a kind of comprehensive project where we met with community leaders, learned what some of the issues and around COVID were in the community, talked about vaccine hesitancy. And then after we talked to community leaders, we then interviewed NAC patient families to learn about their personal stories and the impact of COVID. And we created a series of radio stories, and we're going to be listening to some of them today. And so they're based on the lived experiences of people in the local Native American community, pulled together by the team at Salamo with insight from the community leaders, as well as the community, the families in the community who shared their stories.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard them. I've heard a couple of them. They're really great. They're very well produced and just I think very raw. And I think a lot of us can relate to kind of these more emotional and personal stories. So I know this first one here is just under 5 minutes and it's titled Valerie and Her Daughter. Is there anything you want to open up this one for?
No, I don't think so. I think that I was able to be on the team when they were recording them, and I just, it was just really wonderful to be in the room while the actors were sharing their stories and their insights into the characters. So.
Great. Okay. Well, yeah, let's go. Let's dive right into this quick story titled Valerie and Her Daughter.
The content of the story you're about to hear is based on lived experiences of members of our community. It provides current information about the COVID-19 vaccines. See your doctor about your medical care and about getting the updated COVID-19 vaccine.
Valerie Gizik is a 52-year-old valiant member of the Anishinaabe community. Her daughter Lisa, concerned about her mom's living in isolation up north and her well-being during the COVID pandemic, convinced her to move to the Twin Cities, close to family members. Valerie is overwhelmed with information and stories about the COVID vaccine, and she wonders what is true. She cannot understand the benefits of getting the COVID vaccine.
COVID is a very serious disease.
It is just like the flu.
Everybody will get it.
The vaccine is effective in preventing serious illness.
You should not trust the government.
This is too much information. I'm not sure what to do. Should I get the vaccine?
As Valerie adjusted to life in the city, the topic of COVID-19 and vaccines continued to be in her mind and a point of conversation and concern among her family. Valerie has finally moved to the cities to congregate living near her daughter. She is surrounded by more people and taking public transportation to get to places. Her daughter's concerned about her mom getting COVID.
Mom, have you thought about getting COVID vaccine?
I use a mask and hand sanitizer. Maybe I don't need it. I am worried. Some people say it is safe and others say it has side effects.
I get it, Mom, but you're not young anymore. Doctors recommend the vaccine as a protection. Me and my brothers have already gotten it.
I don't know who to believe anymore. Some people say it's safe, but I don't trust the government.
Valerie was overwhelmed with stories she read about the vaccine, which reminded her about why we as Native Americans have strong historical reasons for not trusting government-led vaccination campaigns. Remember, the blanket.
What? Aunt Gladys got hospitalized? What is it?
She got COVID.
Was she vaccinated?
No.
Is she going to be okay?
She's now in the ICU on a breathing machine. It doesn't look good for her.
The news of her aunt's hospitalization hits her very hard. The reality of COVID-19 has suddenly become very personal to Valerie. All the fond memories she shared with her auntie on the res flooded her mind. She turns to her daughter to share the news.
Hey, Lisa, did you know that Aunt Gladys is in the hospital with COVID?
No, really? Is she going to be okay? Was she vaccinated?
No, I don't think so. She thought it was just like a flu, but her condition deteriorated suddenly. I hope she pulls through.
I hope so too. Aunt Lisa's situation is why you need to think about getting the vaccine. I love you so much, Mom.
Lisa went to the Native American clinic and asked her doctor for information about the COVID vaccine. She knew she needed to bring this information to her mom.
Mom, I talked to our family doctor the other day. She said that many relatives at the Nat clinic have your same concerns. She has given the vaccine to many people and has not seen anyone seriously harmed by the vaccine. She's seen the vaccine help them to avoid being in the hospital and help them survive the virus.
Is that the doctor that helped when my grandbaby Joey was very sick?
Yeah, she really cares about us.
Don't people get sick after the vaccine?
She said that some people have some mild side effects for a day or two.
Just mild? Maybe I should get the shot.
So when are you going to get the shot, Mom?
Valerie carefully considers the doctor's experience. She is grateful for her daughter's support and begins to understand why COVID vaccines are important to keep her and her family protected. She calls her daughter.
Lisa, I decided to get the shot.
I was wondering when you were going to change your mind.
Yeah, you know your mama so well.
I knew you would, especially now that Aunt Gladys is so sick. I'm very glad you did it.
The day of Valerie's vaccine appointment at the NAC clinic has finally arrived. With her decision made and her family's support, she was ready to make this important step in protecting herself and those she loves.
The creation of this story is a collaboration between the Federally Qualified Urban Health Network, Minnesota Department of Health, and Salamo Partnership for Health and Wellness, with funding from the Minnesota Department of Health, COVID-19 Community Engagement, and Diverse Media Grant.
Wow, that was awesome. It was
Right.
It's a theater of the mind. That was really well produced.
I loved the sound effects. It was really amazing. But, I think all of us know someone, a relative or an elder, who has been, resilient to get any type of vaccine. And stories like these can hopefully help someone become a little bit more trusting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And that's really part of the driving reason why we wanted to create these stories. We wanted to hear from people who were equally hesitant to get vaccinated, and to showcase the importance of leaders like Dr. Stately and medical providers who assure people that the vaccine is safe and effective, and to just show the love and support of family members and the desire to protect the ones you love from the COVID and having serious complications.
Yeah, I love how we've all heard these stories before, but putting it down in a little audio story really makes it interesting, and it was produced really well, and we really enjoyed it. I wonder, do we have time to play another one, or should we wait until the next segment? Looks like we only got a couple minutes left in the segment, Haley.
Yeah, I think we can just wait on the second one here. Let's see what the second title is. We're going to hear from Rose's journey and her journey with COVID. And just to set this one up, so our character in this next short story is a woman who is a caretaker of vulnerable people and has a son who gets sick after the vaccine. So, this are some concerns about the disease and concerns about the vaccine side effects and just how effective they are probably overall. But yeah, I think we could hold that one. But yeah, we have a lot more to go through, and I'm very excited. And hopefully, it's always really cool to hear, of people who are hearing stories and they're like, oh, I know them, or, that's happened to me. And, in this last story, we hear from Valerie, who was moved on the reservation to be near her daughter, and then had an unvaccinated aunt in the hospital, which is, always hard to deal with, living on a reservation and kind of just being, away from the people you love. It's hard. So.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the production? Where was this produced?
I would love to. So we partnered with KFAI, Fresh Air Radio, who was another grant recipient on this project. And then we gathered the voice actors. So I'll do a quick shout out to Josephine Lee, Kevin Smokey Day, Mo Mike, and Alan Dare Gross, who played the different characters. And my favorite moment was when they said, "You know your mama so well," and they laughed. It was a really fun moment, and it really shows in the production, I think.
Wow, awesome. Hey, we'll be right back, and listen a little more and get the setup. Thank you so much, Kristen, for being here. This is the radio of the mind, or the theater of the mind is radio, and so let's listen to another one. We'll be right back.
Absolutely.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
All My Relations Arts presents Okizi. Okizi means to heal, and the exhibition highlights the healing power of cultural revitalization for Native communities. Okizi showcases prints, mixed media, textiles, beadwork, digital collage, and glass sculptures by Native American and Sami artists. It explores Indigenous communities' active healing efforts through language revitalization, land back movements, and embracing traditional knowledge. Visit All My Relations Arts to experience Okizi through April 13th. More information at allmyrelationsarts.org. Life can be hectic. Sometimes the pressure can feel like too much, and the emotions can be overwhelming. Hennepin County's COPE Mobile Crisis Response is here to listen and help you find a way through whatever is going on in your life. Call 612-596-1223 for no-cost crisis support anytime, anywhere in Hennepin County. That number is 612-596-1223.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
That was good howl. Hey, wow, Haley, we got an awesome guest here, and why don't you just fill everybody in here, and we're going to jump right into a segment and then talk a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, well, we have Kristen Spargo here with us, and we're just playing some of our community stories that they have gathered and put together from our Native communities here in Minnesota. And this next story that we're going to play is just over 6 minutes, but this is going to talk about Rose's journey and talking a little bit about getting COVID after the vaccine. So let's quickly take a listen.
The content of the story you're about to hear is based on lived experiences of members of our community. It provides current information about the COVID-19 vaccines. See your doctor about your medical care and about getting the updated COVID-19 vaccine.
Rose and her family are gathered in the living room listening to a local broadcast station on the latest COVID-19 news. They are concerned about how this pandemic has affected the community. They worry about their loved ones being very sick, with some in the hospital and some not making it out of the hospital. And they talk about how to stay safe.
This virus is serious. So many lives have been affected by the virus.
The news says the vaccine can protect us, but I heard that some people get sick afterwards for a few days and they can't work.
That can happen, but I worry more about getting sick and then passing the virus on to your dad and uncle, who could get very sick. So yeah, I wouldn't want to put that on anybody.
I feel for the people, got very sick from COVID and were in the hospital on ventilators where no one could visit them, and they passed away alone.
Me too. So sad.
Rose takes care of her husband who has diabetes and lung disease, and her uncle who has heart problems. If they get sick with COVID, they could end up hospitalized, like many elders have in the community. Rose is trying to help the family make a decision to get the vaccine as soon as it is available.
I'll get the vaccine, because I take care of your dad and uncle. I don't want a chance of getting them sick. I don't want you to get sick either.
Dad, I'm concerned about you. With all your health problems, you should get the vaccine too.
I don't want to get sick from COVID, but I am scared that the vaccine would make me sick.
Honey, we all need it. I've been researching, and we can get it when we go and visit the family on the res. It'll be a great opportunity to connect with our family and get protected.
Okay, you're right.
You're right.
And this is how Rose, her spouse, and son drive 300 miles to the reservation to meet family and get the COVID vaccine. The morning after the vaccine, the family shares how they are feeling.
I'm feeling good. Not sick at all. I am so relieved.
Mom, I'm feeling sick.
Well, just go lay down and rest. It's normal. It means the vaccine is working.
No, Mom, I think I got bit by a spider.
Okay, let me see. Oh my God, your arm is very swollen. When did this happen?
Rose rushes her son to the clinic for the doctor to examine him.
Hi, how are you doing? How can I help you today?
My son's arm is very swollen. I'm afraid. Is this normal?
When did you notice your arm swollen? Does it hurt?
I did not feel well, and then about 3 hours after the shot, my arm became red, swollen, and itchy like this.
This looks like an allergic reaction. It is a known side effect from the vaccine, and you will improve. Just take this allergy medicine. Rest and you will get better. This is not a severe allergic reaction. Like with any severe reactions to medicines or peanuts or bee stings, people have more problems than this. They have more swelling in their bodies, including in their throats, and then they have trouble breathing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I'm relieved. I had some fever and chills throughout the night, but those went away. Should we be concerned about getting the next COVID vaccine?
Well, since this reaction is not severe and yours was a common side effect of the vaccine, yes, you can all get the other COVID vaccines.
Thank you. I feel so much better.
Over the next day, Rose monitors her son's reaction to the vaccine.
Let me see your arm.
It feels better.
All right. This does look much better. The doctor was right.
Rose is happy to see her son improve. With her family, she discusses the doctor's recommendation and decides to get subsequent vaccinations to ensure the safety of her loved ones and her community. Several years have passed, and now Rose is volunteering at a community kitchen again. She and coworkers are talking at the community kitchen and discussing the new yearly COVID-19 vaccine starting fall 2023.
So will you be getting the new COVID-19 vaccine?
Sure. Me and my family just got it. My doctor said the virus continues to change, and so the new vaccine helps us to respond to the current virus. Just like yearly flu shots, we'll be getting yearly COVID shots. Wouldn't it be terrible after all this time you got sick with COVID-19 and were hospitalized?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we could also get long COVID. After the infection, some people cannot taste or smell. And then we couldn't enjoy our food in the community kitchen. Or worse, some people get very tired and have heart troubles. I think you should think about getting the vaccine. It's not just for you, but for the safety of our community.
But I'm just worried about getting the shot, the side effects and all.
Hey, listen, I was worried too. But I spoke to my doctor and checked the information before making a decision. Even with our family having some side effects, it was a good decision. I suggest that you do it too. I personally want to live longer and healthier. You know, I want to be there for my grandbabies because COVID sickness has been killing a lot of our people, and the vaccination helps to protect us.
Rose is now spreading the word about how the 2023 fall COVID vaccination can help keep your family and yourself safe.
The creation of this story is a collaboration between the Federally Qualified Urban Health Network, Minnesota Department of Health, Insalamo Partnership for Health and Wellness, with funding from the Minnesota Department of Health, COVID-19 Community Engagement, and Diverse Media Grant.
Wow, that was awesome. Well, the production value is just crazy. Where can other people listen to this again? Where are these stored?
Well, we've got them. We're just in the process of distributing them widely in the community. So we're going to be putting up posters with QR codes where in the clinics, so people would be able to use their smartphones with a QR code and listen to them on their phones while they're waiting for appointments. We'll be sharing them in the clinics through the audio systems there. We'll be sharing them on social media as well, and just hope to get them out kind of organically in the community. And then we're working with other radio partners like you to share them in the community. So hopefully we'll just start getting them out, and really appreciate your inviting us on to start sharing these stories.
Yeah, they're great stories. And what I like is that we have such a short memory, and it's good to relive a lot of this stuff. We forget we didn't have vaccines at one time, and so it's very important. And I would suggest too to upload these all on PRX too, so people all over Turtle Island can use these.
Oh, great! I'll have to.
That's
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
free thing. And I think the only bugaboo that I have is always trying. I didn't even know there was such a file as a MP2, but you have to upload it as an MP2 to there. But it's free. And then if people get out there and you are looking for stuff like this to play, but also
Oh, that's great.
our listeners out there too, and then the other stations, because we're on 20 other stations across the country that could download these stories and play them in their
I would
during the
love
show.
to. I would love your expertise. This is a new project for me. I've been in communications for 20 plus years, and the insight and innovation of the Salamo team. They did a similar radio stories in the Hmong community around HPV maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And so we mirrored our project on that.
Well, it's excellent. You did a great job. And like we said in our private chat, we got to have you on again. This was really good.
I would love to do that. And it'd be great to bring one of the actors in and kind of talked about the production, because we had a really good time kind of creating these for the community.
Right on. Hey, you're listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. We are the 7th generation.
And free Leonard Peltier now.
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers.